Welcome to another episode of Alpha Intuition Podcast, where we're going to help you guys crack that crazy girl code. I'm your host, Keisha Blair, and joining me as always is the beautiful, insightful mind wellness coach, Essence Yarbrough. What's up, Essence?
What's up? I'm ready to get it going today. It's a wonderful day. It's going to be a great show. Just ready to get it going.
All right, you guys. So today we have a special guest joining us to tackle some of these topics that we've been talking about. And I know last time we talked about competition versus collaboration, right? So we got somebody who's going to help us work on that today in the professional and the professional world. So with us joining us today is Jerry Yarbrough. He is a corporate executive who left corporate America when reaching the pinnacle of his career to experience life from a different perspective. So welcome to the show, Jerry. What's up? How are you?
Thank you.
Hey.
I'm great. So great to be here with you guys.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today. We are definitely thrilled to have you. And we don't like to keep our guests waiting. We don't like to keep our listeners waiting. So we're going to hop right into today's topic, and we're going to talk about understanding the difference between competition and collaboration. So, Jerry, we know that you have a unique background, transitioning from a high power corporate executive role into a more diverse role and even, challenges and doing things in your own life. So can you tell us about, first of all, what led you to make that change of leaving the corporate world and just going to doing your own thing?
Um, Actually, the catalyst was a number of little changes along the way, and those little changes were more self-development and also looking towards entrepreneurship. So as you start to dig into an entrepreneurial into that realm, you actually begin to come across new mindsets. And those mindsets begin to shift how you move. And eventually you kind of wake up to I'm selling my time on this planet to the highest bidder. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
generating all that I can. There's a ceiling on the amount of money that I can make. So that was a different chapter in my life. So, but that was truly the catalyst. I kind of woke up.
Okay, yeah. Well, you said something really big there. So I want
You
to give
woke up.
I know, right? Essence, I want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and respond to that.
Yeah, because the wake up, that's you can start to feel like there's something else calling you. When you're in that zone, like you were so heavy in that zone of the corporate realm. And like mentally, were you feeling like I'm being cheated of my life here? Like, what were some of the specific turning points? If you could think of any specific turning points that just had you say, you know what, I have to go into another direction, or, like what in the corporate world, was there like this issue with competition? Was there an issue with collaboration? Was there an issue with you just being able to feel like you can flow and operate, freely in the corporate space?
So that
Probably
that
sounds like
that's
I
a
asked
lot
you
of
a lot.
questions all at once. So try to break that down if you need her to
That's
ask you.
why I said, that's
Let's
why I
take
was,
one
yeah,
question. So how about we
right.
just talk about just what you experienced from competition and collaboration in the corporate space, just from your perspectives. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, with your headspace in that.
Well, okay. So that was a big change of gears from the original question. So let me try to address the original question quickly. Um, I had been doing real estate, flipping houses, um, and I had started a business or began to start a business. And again, that entrepreneurial mindset, it just puts you past this stuff I'm doing. I'm making six figures over here. I'm doing damn good. However, it's pulling my focus away from this thing that generates an untold amount. Whatever I'm willing to put in is what I'm going to get out. So that awakening allowed me to just say, hey, you know what? I remember the day I made the decision to walk away. I remember where I was sitting in my house
Mm,
when I made the decision to walk away. I simply It was a Tuesday after a holiday, like, Memorial Day or whatever, and
Yeah.
I had to prep for work. And I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I had an in-depth conversation with myself. The business I was intending to start was about to launch. Um, and so at that moment, sitting in that chair, I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. There was other conversation that occurred. However, I went through, did my due diligence. Where's my money at? How long can I continue going without having to work? How long can I stay, um, independent if the business does not jump off as you would hope, right? So that was my moment. So there was little building, little steps, like I said, of entrepreneurial moves. I also know how to trade stocks and options and futures, things like that. So I always had this other lane that I wanted to dive into full force. That moment, um, was a culmination of all those little moves outside of my corporate career.
Mm, interesting.
When you were in corporate, did you feel like there was competition? Did you ever end up having to like deal with that in the workplace?
Yeah,
Or was it more
definitely.
collaborations? Or you felt the competition?
There's definite competition. So I work for, global, Fortune 500 company,
Mhm.
and I started from the bottom, and in 15 years climbed pretty high. And that that climb, you have to be competitive. You have to be competitive on every team you're on and collaborative at the same time. So every step of the way was competition. When I
Mhm.
reached my pinnacle within corporate America, I was hella competitive. I would not, if I fell to number two, I was, I was angry. Not angry. I was not happy. And the guy that got number one, I'd be like, I'll see you next quarter, right?
Right.
And literally get on the phone to him and talk to him. And it was a good back and forth. However, collaboration and competition can intertwine. If those two personalities are able to work together and create a great synergy, then you can do even better things. And he and I'm thinking of one person in particular. That's what we did, and we did big things in this company that I've been gone since 2018, and they still use some of the practices that I created,
Mm.
um, in forging ahead new new ways to get things done. And that goes into a whole host of other aspects of corporate America. And if we go there, then I'm glad to go there in this conversation.
Okay, so what it sounds like to me is that, first of all, a man after my own heart. You're very ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it sounds like to me that you were all on board with collaborating with others, and that the only person you were in competition was with yourself. And that when you fell back to number two, you looked at yourself as saying, "Okay, I know I got more in me to where I'm gonna make that number one spot." So it wasn't like you were hating on anybody else; you were just in competition with the person you saw in the mirror. That's what I heard. Does that sound about right? Mm,
Yeah, sounds right.
yeah, man,
I
trust
took it
me.
serious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, that's why we call this show Alpha Intuition, because we know how alphas are, right? We got to be number one. So definitely, definitely understandable. All right, Essence, do you have anything you want to say behind that?
Yeah, I wanted to when you talked about collaboration, I thought that was really great that you used the competition to create the collaboration. And you said that that really helped because that was actually going to be one of my questions was there times where you just really sought out that collaboration to take you to the next level, and where it worked out and it succeeded, and that was like those highs of being in corporate America. So yeah, you already answered that though. So that was what I was going to ask, how he would use collaboration. So yeah, that's awesome.
Do you want to add anything to that,
Good
though,
deal.
Jerry?
I think personalities. are important. And
Mm.
if you develop yourself, know who you really are, understand how you move and why you move that way, you're able to see other people, how they move. You may not know the exact why, but you can sense how they're going to move. And me being really in tune with myself in that lane and somewhat of who I was at the time, because I'm different now. So, but at that time, I was able to listen to him, hear his concern, address it promptly, and then, okay, you know what I was thinking, so and so. I'll just call him Michael. I was thinking, Michael, what if you come in with me on da 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 da? So I gave him the nice, hey, I gave him some help, I gave him compliments, which brought him onto my team, which enabled me to grow more. So
Mm-hmm.
even up the chain, right? Same with my um, um, director above me. So it was just, hey, you have to know people's personalities and you have to be able to engage those different personalities to get what you want in the end. And you
Yeah.
got to be patient too. So go ahead.
And I was going to say,
So
so it's more so about you wanting to use that leverage to get that person to where you know that even though whatever you may have been feeling inside, being jealous or being envious was not going to help you at that point. So you basically used it to your
Listen,
advantage, right? So this is where I'm trying to segue into understanding the difference between competition and collaboration. I'm gonna let you respond. Go ahead.
let me tell you something. The dude that I collaborated with a lot and competed with a lot, he got the state of Hawaii. I was beyond living.
Hmm.
But it is what it is. And that means quarterly trips to Hawaii,
Mm.
paid for, right? Because I got to go do what I got to do in those locations over there. So I had other locations across however many states. So yeah, I was a little salty. I don't even know why that came up right now. I guess
No,
I
no,
got
no,
his
no.
picture
But look,
in my
what I'm
head
getting
right
ready to do is just to skip over this, and we're gonna go to the next one because this is talking about some of the
now.
benefits and drawbacks of collaborating, right? So it's like that's one of the
Yeah,
drawbacks. Like you have the benefit of like just from my perspective and being in the corporate world, there is that benefit to where it's like okay, you build camaraderie. You're looking at like you're going across different opcos. You're making sure that you're working, giving your best team effort, and then the drawback is the person that you collaborating with may steal your ideas. He or she may go on and do things, use the information that they got from you, where you were looking at them like an ally, and they were looking at you like an adversary, right? So anyway, so let's speak on some of that.
so in all honesty, I didn't encounter that all that much. Um, I was very stern when I had to be, sometimes when I didn't have to be. You can't be agreeable and win in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
You can be nice, like I always understand, kind of like I did with Michael. Give a little bit to get more. So you always get more with sugar than you do with salt. So that's how I moved. He didn't backstab me. uh, he just ended up in the right place at the right time. How that happened, I don't know.
Mm.
And I
You sure you
just
didn't have a
why.
soft spot in your back? Michael might have found out about.
I think I'm okay. I think it's just sometimes things just work out because I knew the person that makes the decisions, and the person that makes the decision is a fair person. And he saw I was not happy, and he addressed it promptly and directly. So all I could do is say, understood, and I let it go, kind of, as you
Mm.
can tell, kind of.
you, yeah, but it's funny because even the way you describe how you moved within that company, it was always with class, professionalism, and ultimately all of this worked out for your benefit anyway, because if you were to already end up in Hawaii, then would you have been so quick to say, hey, I need to go in my own direction and end up where you are now in the beautiful, amazing place you're in now. At some point, whenever possible, we would love to see your view from where you are, whenever it's
Yeah,
good. But
we'll do that
yeah,
towards the
so
end. We
as
don't wanna mess up that beautiful camera view.
yeah, yes, yes. So, really sometimes what might seem like a drawback can actually end up being for a person's benefit in the long run, depending on, because you were in a headspace of, hey, I need to be in Hawaii, right? But at the end of the day, it was actually a benefit for you because it brought you to the place of understanding what you really needed. And oftentimes, what we see when people are oh, go ahead.
I could understand why you would say that because it seems like
Hmm.
paradise. However,
Mm,
the thing inside of me was I don't care if I had Hawaii, Fiji, Bora
Right.
Bora, it doesn't matter. Like I already, I was at a particular place where it was just time. Sometimes you can't. Um, so that's all. I'm just addressing. I get what you're saying, but no, it was time, and
so
my
It was just
spirit
time.
was screaming at me. He was screaming at me.
I
Yeah.
want to ask you this question
Mhm.
really quick. So, um, let's talk about some of like, some of the negative aspects that you experienced, just, whether in the collaboration or the competition space where like, you felt like it was either stressful or toxic,
Mm.
and then a follow-up question is that something that contributed to you wanting to just leave? So let's talk about that.
So first would be competitive, negative competition. Negative competition in my walk in corporate America was other organizations within the company vying for work that my teams did. So
Mhm.
that that can get pretty negative, and there can be a lot of uh, frustration. I'll just say. So you have to do a very good job of having foresight and being able to grab what's yours, what truly belongs to you, and sometimes what you know you can do and your organization can accomplish in a stellar way. So you go get more work, you go get more uh, network thing. And I don't want to get into the jargon.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing about competition in corporations. For me, it was again to the competition over work. Because if you are not, I don't want to say this for everybody who may work in a corporate environment. If you do not generate revenue for that business, if you are not the sales team, like the person that goes and shakes hands and does that business and gets that contract, I don't care if you're his right hand person, his or her right hand person that handles all their documentation, keeps everything in alignment. If you are not the person that shakes hands, you cost the company money. And I've seen people fight for I deserve this amount or that amount, and I've done all this work with, and they totally are self-centered and not understanding that that corporation is an entity. Its job is to survive and thrive beyond survive. So
Hmm.
if you are stepping to your higher ups with, well, I've done all this work and I've done this, I'll just go somewhere else. You don't generate us money. You cost us money.
Uh-huh.
Like this very
Mhm.
simple thing.
Yeah.
Like so I understood that. So when I went and I got work for my teams, I was saving 2 million, three
Mhm.
million. I was doing things that they had to go, wow. Now I never got an award. I never got a watch. You know,
Mm.
this company is a cutthroat, you know, S&P 500 company. Like you gotta bring it. So if you're gonna stay there. in a role that does not produce revenue. So because you are a cost and your whole organization is a cost, the only thing you can do is to generate savings to
Mhm.
add to the overall revenue of the company so that their costs are less. I hope whoever hears this catches that. Get your ass off your shoulders and understand that if you are not shaking hands to get the dollar into that company, you are a
Liability.
Liability.
you're like
Yeah. So what I like to say to that is I used to tell my team, I hired you to do two things. That's add value and solve problems. Because if you add value
Mm,
and you solve problems, even if you don't generate a revenue, you will help the company save. And that's, in my role, I was very similar to your walk, where in one year I say $5.2 million, but that's just me. I'm just one person. And that's, may seem like a drop in the bucket to a multi-billion dollar company. But however, it did mean something because it wasn't like I cost them $5.2 million, right? So
right.
yeah,
exactly.
definitely 100%. Yeah, so we don't want to dive too deep into the corporate world because we want to start talking about some other things. So I really want to know from you, right? All right. So and I know we spoke on like toxicity and well, I asked you the question about being toxic in a stressful environment. I want you to talk about what basically led you up to that data where you said, you know what, I don't want to keep doing this, even though I reached the top of my career. I need something else for me. So tell us what that is and what that something else for you is or was made you want to leave. Go.
I'm gonna I'll say this. When I had to travel all the time. Every quarter I was gone 1 month out of the quarter to my different locations, spending as much time as I could complete, the not objectives, but your deliverables, all your deliverables, right? So I had a moment where I was in a hotel room and I collapsed. And ever since that moment, I felt as though I'm gonna die in a hotel room at 40 whatever years old, and I don't want that. So I still had all the responsibility because when you make more money, you take on more responsibilities, and they don't go away. So at that time had already been working on the business that I was to launch. Um, so I just kind of kept my eye on that. A health scare that I didn't know what it was. Went to the doctor. They're like, "Yeah, you can lose weight, but you're good." That freaked me out, and it freaked
Mm,
me out enough to make me go, I don't like having visions. I'm just driving to wherever, going to Safeway to go get some whatever, and I have a vision of myself laying on the floor in a hotel. I don't like that. I don't like that. That had a huge effect on me. So couple that with all the little steps towards entrepreneurialism, etc. That's what led to that. I neglected to say the medical part earlier, but that's what brought it about. That was a huge catalyst.
All right. So,
What,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Essence.
well, it's interesting because, you know, from dealing with that, like you said earlier, like there was like a calling, like like you had to, like your spirit was like yelling at you, you know what I mean? And so in that, would you say that like you were thinking more of your health, or it was more of, I just feel a calling to do something else, or that just all that, well, like you said, all of it together, but
Yeah.
like, was there something else that you were feeling called to within that business that you were going? Was like that a purpose, or was that for money? Was that more for leisure? And you were
Yeah.
just like what was your purpose in choosing whatever else you were choosing? Was it still something that was labor intensive? Was it something that was going to free your time? Was it going to give you more quality of life? Like, did you have specific thoughts like that?
It was very, it still would have been very labor intensive. My drive in that
Mm,
business um, was to scale the business over time and create my replacements so that I could eventually walk away or sell the
Mm.
business altogether. Um, I'm sorry, I feel as though I'm missing a part of your question.
No, that's just me. Keisha knows I'll be
Yeah,
asking like three questions in
I was
one.
about to cut her off and say, let him answer the question instead of giving him the answer. So I think what she wants to know is, what was your why for leaving corporate America? Like something, and just, and you
Oh,
mentioned about your awakening. So let's just speak more on that part.
Yes.
gotcha. So I was chasing the dollar. It wasn't about, oh, you know, I wanted my financial freedom. I did not want to work even till, 55 and con- and then be like, okay, now I'm going to travel. Now I'm going to get a motor home and drive across the country. Now I'm going to go after these things I always wanted to do. I didn't want that. And when you're around people who make, all my friends also make good money. So when I'm talking about these things, they'd be like, you're acting like that's a bad thing, especially like where we come from, right?
Yeah.
So like, so my drive was financial freedom on the logical side of it. On the emotional side of it, I was to work with young black men. So
Mm,
that was my goal, but also to do it and generate a good business, a good business. So
okay.
if you want to go into more detail, we can. If not, I'm good.
Well, no.
No problem.
So I think what I'm mostly interested in is like your whole life. First of all, it is amazing. So I don't want to discredit any of it, but I want to talk about where you are now, because you talked about this, Fortune 500 company, and how you reached the top of your pinnacle and all these things. But tell me about life for Jerry now.
So life changed dramatically in 2018 when I walked away. So before, well, I don't want to. I can delve into those things if you wish. I'm an open book. I don't really. I don't
Just you
hide
feel like
anything.
sharing. It's
So
all good. This is your journey.
can you repeat the question for me, though? I
Yeah,
want
I
to
just
be precise.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just want you to just talk about where you are now. Like, let's talk about the moment when you walked away and you talked about going down an avenue, but tell us where that avenue ended up, or where you are on that
Uh,
street.
so the avenue, that business had direct ties to working with the
Mm,
state that I lived in at the time. I'm very keen on go where you're appreciated, not where you are. What's the other side of that?
Tolerated. Tolerated.
So yes, thank you. Go where you're appreciated, not where you're tolerated. And after investing so much money, time, and effort into this business, the state, after I left my job and took my buyout and all of that, um, decided they wanted to increase more costs on my business that had not generated any revenue because I had not been approved to begin business. At that point, I just said, that's pretty draconian. I don't want to deal with that. I just don't want to deal with that. And I had a partner at the time. He was not happy. However, um, that's just that's what it. If you tell me I don't want you, I believe you.
mm,
I don't have to. I don't have to continue to force it. You know, it showed me they did not want our business and other businesses like mine at that time.
hmm
I'm not going to force it because what am I going to do? I'm going to open the business anyway, and now you're going to be, micromanaging my business because you're looking for something to put me out of business. Therefore, I'll never deal with the state again unless I have to for licensing, permitting, something like that, but never to have a consistent relationship with the state. I don't care what state it is, red
Yeah.
or blue.
And then where are you at now in your journey?
Oh, I don't have to worry about red or blue. I live in Costa Rica.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's like it's all purple out there.
Where I'm at in my journey now, I'm truly within myself. So even talking about the corporate competition and so forth, it really, it like juices were kind of starting to come up again. Like I used to be an NFL player and I'm watching a game. It's I can feel all of that. I can still hear the conversations, etc. I believe that all of the pain and difficulty to get to where I'm at only honed me, but I had to be willing to be honed. And
Mm,
a lot of people don't. And I believe I've said before, like our ego will not allow us to be honed a lot of the time. And I was able to kind of understand the difference of what my ego is, who I am, because I am not my ego, what I am, and what do I want? Not the ego, not my personality, not the environment, not my mama, not my daddy, me, the one whose name is Jerry, but I didn't give myself that name. That name came from other people, right? It's just a label. So who am I truly within that inhabits this body? That's where I'm at. So that's how I move in my life day to day. Um, I'll stop there.
no, 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 that was good. So, um, I want to shift into our another topic. Yeah, I want to shift gears real quick because you talked about where you are day to day. And I'm sure, I don't know, I'm going to let you speak on that. But when dealing with relationships, you can even talk about your relationship and where you are now that you're in a better headspace. But I want to talk about just collaboration and competition in relationships. And, especially in the money aspect. And just tell us, how you think those dynamics play out in relationships.
I have had friends who believe in 50-50 with their woman. I don't believe in 50-50 with my woman. I believe that I produce to cover what is required and most of what's wanted, if possible. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a millionaire. So I have to conduct myself wisely. Um, when it comes to 50-50 partnerships, because that's what it is, I don't believe in that. I
Mm.
don't. I'm a more traditional man. And if we delve deeper into that conversation, that opens up a whole lot of stuff. So if you want to, I'm down. The main point, the main, the main thing,
Let's dive. No.
the main thing is, I think that our society has caused men to move differently as women have moved differently as well. And however, in the end, we all really kind of want that traditional. In
Mm,
the end, we all really kind of want if you peel away all the programming you've received, if you peel away the trauma that you've been through, if you peel away the losses that you've taken while you was out there on your own, there's certain things that are, if you get to the root, it's a traditional root. And people will disagree with that. I don't care. We do what we do. We live how you want to live. For every action, there's a reaction. And in my relationship now, my woman right now does not generate any income, but she's an entrepreneur like a mom. She's
mhm.
already had successful
She's adding
businesses.
value, right? She's solving problems.
She's adding value and solving problems in other ways. That is
Mhm.
correct. And so I don't. And she's a modern woman at the same time. Like because she's waiting for school to start, she's like, ah, I need to do. I wanna. And I'm like, baby, just chill. You don't know what peace is. See, I
Mm.
already know what you're going through. I already know why you feel how you feel to a degree as a man, as much as I can. I'm not a woman, so I truly believe that by me being that container, she's able to blossom. And
Mm,
that's something that men don't understand. When you invest, number one, if as a man you invest in the wrong woman, you're gonna lose. It's gonna hurt because you invested. If you invest in the right woman and you provide that container that she, and people don't like that either. I don't care.
mm-hmm.
Um, if you provide that, let's take the word container away. Let's say you foster the proper environment for beautiful growth
That's right.
as a man for your woman. She can then become what it is you see in her. That's what I'm doing for my woman. I'm doing my best to help her become who I see. First of all, she is. Second of all, she gonna be she gonna she gonna be off the chain. So and just to be keep it real, as a man, you have to sit back and say, what if she step off though?
But
What
wait,
if she
pause right
step
there
off?
real quick. Pause right there because you said something that was really profound where you talked about you pouring into her. So what I want, my male listeners to understand, the more you pour into your woman and she's happy, she's going to give that back to you 10 times fold. She's going to make sure that she pours back in you because when we're happy, trust me, it is true. We want to see others be happy. When you have a good woman that's by your side and you know that she's got your back, it's going to make her have your back that much more because she sees that you're genuinely pouring into her.
Well, and also adding to that, that is on point because already, this is the thing, gentlemen, he's already seeing signs of her value and how she adds to him, right? He's not sitting back giving her everything and then waiting for that. It's been reciprocated in many ways that tells him this is a woman of value that I can contain, that I can, in other words, foster an environment for, that I can invest that time and energy and money into, in the sense that is wise and still protects me, even though I am taking a risk, but it's not as much of a risk. But like you were about to go into, Jerry, it's like, hey, what if all of this happens and then will she stay? Does she bounce?
Yeah.
Go continue
So
on
let's
with
speak on
those
that.
concerns because yeah, because those are things that I've heard from men where they're concerned because it's that conversation of I don't know if I want to get married because I don't want all my stuff taken. So yeah, please expound on that concern.
Life is a gamble. Life is a gamble. Relationships are a gamble. You gotta gamble. You gotta
Yeah,
gamble to win. You gotta play to win. You can't
yeah,
sit back and play safe because all you're gonna do is be one of those people on your deathbed, wondering, oh man, not wondering, but saying to yourself and out loud to other people, I wish I had a A B C D E F G. I'm not gonna live
wow.
my life that way.
Let me ask you one question real quick,
So
Jerry. So,
Yeah,
well, I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say you made me think about just I'm gonna go switch back to the corporate lane real quick. When you're in that corporate
Mhm.
space, right, to where you have that same mentality, are you one of the ones that are gonna say I don't want to go for that job because you're thinking about the doubt that could come along with it? You might not get it, whatever the case may be, as opposed to you being that go getter, right? That's what I related like the
Man,
relationships to, man. It's like I'm hearing you say,
yo,
I can see the competitive, I can hear it in your voice. Go ahead.
yeah, if you said, hey Jerry, I'm thinking about how can I help? Yeah, hey Jerry,
yeah,
I think you would be a good fit. Let's do it.
That's right.
Or I sit back and I go, see a need, fill a need. I need to fill that need. I can fill
yeah.
that need. Even if I don't know how I'm gonna do it, I'll always figure it out.
And
I'll
I see
always figure it out.
you carried that right over into
Yeah.
your relationship because that's you as a person is who you are. You show up authentically as that person who wants to help, not even in a corporate space, but even in a relationship space. And when you see that there's something that needs to be
Right.
done, you don't ask questions, you just do it. That's what I'm getting from you.
And I'm okay with, I think this is big for men and women to understand. It's okay to be used. It is not okay to be misused. And what
Mm,
enables you to dictate whether or not, or to Not
Say that.
what what enables you to become aware of the fact that you're being misused. That's still not quite right, but I'm a
Ooh,
rock with it.
that was a mic drop. I mean, that was a mic
You
drop.
have to, you have to, you have to. Um, your ego provides the defense of the boundaries that your spirit needs.
Mm.
Now, everybody, this is my philosophy.
Hey, that's
This is
it. I
how
want
I'm
to hear
living
it.
my life.
Oh.
Okay. As we, your ego's job is to defend the boundaries that the spirit requires. All right. Now, everybody's spirit is in different places. We're all individuals, of course, yet we are all one. So there are things that are the same. There are things that are extremely different. No matter what, though, that's your ego's job. So, so something you may say or do something that does not bother me, but you'll say or do that same thing to someone else and they can't take it. That's for, and I'm not saying that they're less than. I'm just saying their boundary is different. And their ego, if they are a strong individual, they will stand up at a time where someone else may not stand up. Now, there's a whole host of environmental programming reasons that all of these things come into play. But I think as you begin to figure yourself out, who you are, what you are, why you exist, and what do you want to experience, your ego takes a back seat. He's not in front anymore. He or she,
Mm-hmm.
whoever, is not in front anymore.
Mhm.
And until we wake up, the ego's driving. Ego's driving the car. The real you is in the back seat, and you think your name's Tasha. So until you wake up
Right.
to who and what you really are, it's all a facade.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're easily triggered. That's why you know we have my I don't know what to say. My girl be like, they got their nose all in somebody else's cocaine, right? That's why.
Only from Costa
That's
Rica,
why.
right?
Yeah,
Right. Real talk. So,
so
That's because y'all don't
go
have no
ahead. I'm sorry.
Kool-Aid. Because we normally say, you got your finger in somebody else's Kool-Aid, but y'all don't have Kool-Aid, so we'll go with the cocaine.
Listen,
right. Or Tang, cocaine or Tang, right?
Okay, you said Tang,
Look.
my bad. So while we talking about having fun,
She's
I hear your music all in the background. I think your neighbors out there doing it up big.
yeah, they was
girl.
having a good
Yes,
time.
they
Got it.
love it. Costa Rican version of the mariachi music, what I be calling it. I hope they don't get mad
I'm
at me
like,
for saying
we're
that.
trying to figure it out.
Hey Jerry, I
Hey,
wanna
yes.
I wanna go back to something that you said because that is. Let me tell you something. Everything you just said was a whole book. Like people need to read that. Like I hope one day you consider even just taking that because Jerry, you are really full of a lot of gems and it's interesting when you were talking about deathbeds, right? Kind of deathbed confession. What people so happened. Somebody messaged me this morning an article about Siddhartha Mukherjee. He is an Indian author, and I believe he's an Indian author, but he is an author of a book that he calls The Song of the Cell. And this particular, it's so funny. So, and he talks about like the maladies of cancer, and he's saying there are four phrases that people say on their deathbed, and this really sums up kind of what you were talking about. They say one of the things that they say is, "I want to tell you that I love you," and that was powerful. They hold a lot of stuff in for the sake of ego, for the sake of, and not healthy ego, but for the sake of, just vulnerability, fears, things like that. So they never get that out. A simple expression over time, instead of just at the last minute, that I showed you that I loved you, saying, I want to tell you that I forgive you. Half the time people are so busy, like you said, it's a facade. They're so busy trying to move, and they're moving subconsciously or
Yes.
consciously through this facade. Huh?
Is there a question in there?
No, I'm saying no, I'm saying
Question.
just
You said a whole,
on
you
what
asked
no,
the
just
question. You
from
said
a
a whole bunch. I'm
no,
like, let him answer the question.
no, just from no, just from the mind wellness perspective of what he was saying when he was talking about how people, really do like have these deathbed confessions, and these are the four. It's I want to tell you I love you. I want to tell you that I forgive you. Would you tell me that you love me? Would you forgive me? Right? Would you give me your forgiveness? And so I'm saying that to say that in this trek for collaboration, in this trek for competition, whether it's in relationships or in the corporate environment, what we see is regret at the end of the day for a lot of people. And this is what studies have shown. So, what Jerry was saying, Jerry, what you were saying was really on point. So, would you say that compared to how things were, compared to how you are now, would you say that you have any regrets? Would you say that you love fully, that you allow yourself vulnerability?
Yeah, look, I've been eating the Quentin Tarantino version. I be wanting to have the be like the end first. Tell me what we about to talk about. You set me up. It's like I got my anxiety. I'm like, where is she going?
Look
Okay,
here,
now I get
look
it. My
here.
bad. Go ahead. Let's talk about things that they regret. Jerry, go.
Yes, it's the mind
So
wellness side of things. Yes.
yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I do feel you. I feel both of you. I think. Well, I forgot the question. What's the question?
We were talking about regret and things that people regret in their life, and you talked about it from being on the
Oh,
deathbed perspective. Yeah.
what do I regret? I don't regret anything. Um, what I do understand is that I didn't. Yeah, I was a corporate man, but before I was a corporate man, I was a different type of man, and that's the type of man that did a lot of things that I don't want. I don't. I wish I had not done. Right. So that, however, all those things that I did in youth, and I'm not even always young, but just my ego. Got to get this. Got to do this. This is what it is. Is what it is. If I don't do it, somebody else will. All that bullshit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. All of that stuff.
The old man
All of
coming
that
out.
stuff. There's all of that. So those are the types of things that at one time I did look at them as regrets because I can still feel those things. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to, um, I have to deal with them. I still have dreams. You know, I found out I have PTSD, like that. Um, so those types of things, you may say, yeah, I regret those things until you wake up. Because once you wake up, you realize this is who I am now. That's why I'm able to speak directly to y'all. That's why I'm able, at least as far as I can see,
Hmm.
that's why I'm able to deal with all different genres of people. I'm not limited to this one or that one or those few over there. I can rock with a lot of different people at different levels. Um, I recognize dangers. I see my situational awareness is really good, and I don't want to lose it. Right? I don't. See, that's tricky because the new me is like, let go. I'm gonna tell you something. I was at a mall here in Costa Rica with my girl, my woman, and we were waiting for a movie to start. So we're sitting in like the little lobby area in the middle. Not lobby. This is in the middle of the mall, and they have these benches that are through the middle of the mall.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting down, chilling, eating ice cream. We've been there for a minute, and that day was the day I was like, Jerry, let go, just let go, just let go. See what happens. I'm sitting there with my girl. She's talking to me, eating ice cream, and looking up. And she looks up. Now I'm feeling her looking up, but I don't want to. I don't want to engage. She's looking up at somebody. She looks up again and she says, "¿Qué pasó?" Like that. That now I'm on alert, right? So I turn and the dude is looking at us, walking away. I know it's taking a minute. I'm sorry, but the
Mhm.
dude's walking away. I'm looking at. I ain't said a word. I'm just looking at him. I literally have a mouthpiece in my pocket, like in case I get into a fist fight. So I'm sitting there looking at him. He's looking at me. He turns around and he starts woofing shit. Just and I'm like, really? I don't move. I sit back and I cross my leg and I just stare at him. He's got a bag, a messenger bag around his front. I look at his bag. I look at his eyes. I look at his bag. I look at his eyes. And I'm just like, okay, what's it gonna be? Turn around and walk away.
Mm.
You know, I had to. My girl would probably be mad for saying this, but I had to tell her, don't ever do that. Like, let me know. Let me know. They don't. But I feel she a alpha female.
Well, that was the alpha in you that sensed that danger to be that protector.
Right.
I
Right.
just,
Absolutely.
I'm,
And
I'm
But
just
sometimes,
you
saying it's
know,
a.
I was going to say, and sometimes as women, being an alpha female, which I hate that term, but in being a dominant or just someone who's in your own element, you used to be in there when you have an alpha male or someone around that is your protector. Sometimes we forget and we jump into that mode before we realize, oh, he has it. And so you correcting her and telling her was a good thing. I mean, as a woman, I would not take offense to that, none, especially when I know you got it, because I wouldn't be following you if I didn't
And,
had it.
and she didn't. She caught
Mhm.
it. She
Cool.
caught
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Keisha said
it. It's a different.
exactly what I was about to say. She already hit that point, so I don't even have to respond to that other than good job.
All right, so look, Jerry, I want to give you an opportunity because I see, man, we've been on here for almost an hour already. And I don't want us to go over,
Okay.
but I want to give you an opportunity just to kind of, just to talk about some things that are important to you. You mentioned having this men's camp, right? Or did you say young men or men? Speak on that for me.
Oh, nah, man. It's for me now.
Okay.
We need men. We need. I'm not gonna. My goal would be black men to to when I establish what I'm gonna do to come out and let go. And it's gonna be hard for you to let go
Why do you think that's going to be hard for them to let go?
because it would be hard for me to let go. It's
Mm,
still hard for me
And
to
let
let go.
go of what in particular?
yeah.
All of the programming your ego enforces that you are not aware of until you have that vibration in your body that makes you uncomfortable. Then
Mm,
once you feel the vibration that lets you know that you are uncomfortable, you are going to have to conquer that and convince yourself that it's okay. No one's going to
Oh,
harm you. No one's
that
going to
is
judge
okay.
you.
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. I
We
gotta
don't
ask
understand.
you. Go
We
ahead.
don't understand. We, I'm gonna speak. I'm a black man. I'm gonna speak as a black man. I can't speak for all. We don't understand what freedom is. We don't understand what freedom is. We don't because when you engage in another environment with a different type of people, the stigma on us is already a negative one. Therefore, we have to turn around and prove we are not a part of that stigma. And then they go, "Oh, okay." You know, that's probably been said in the interwebs. I'm sure somebody has said that before or whatever, but no matter what,
Mm,
that's when I realized I just gotta let shit go. So what is
right.
it? Uh, the four agreements. Um,
yeah.
Oh,
don't take
yeah.
things personally. Don't take things
Personal.
personally. That was huge for me, and that made me realize that people's problems is their problem. It's not my problem.
That's right.
And
Right.
my whole point, though, to try to bring this to a close, is that we are always under pressure. Men are always under pressure. Your shoulders are
Yeah.
broad because you have a job to do, and that job is a covering of others. And
Right.
So you always have that pressure. And if you're not achieving, that's even more pressure. And you want to achieve, you want to do better if you're healthy in here.
Mhm.
I like
I
that.
have one question. Yeah, I have one quick question. If you could respond to it and answer it within 1 minute, because I know Keisha is ready to wrap up. We got to wrap it up.
Yes, like you got to
But
answer the question in less than 1 minute, girl. Go ahead.
I know that's how I be. That's how I be. So, so
Rock with it.
here's the
Rock
thing.
with it.
When you were talking about letting go, what have you noticed that, the programming that women have, how does that interfere, do you think, in relationships, that male female dynamic with an alpha male, letting go for the woman to let go of her programming? How does that
Mm.
interfere in about 1 minute?
We gonna have to go longer
Well, that's what I was
because
getting ready to say. So let me say this because that's a whole nother topic in itself. And since we at the
Okay.
end, y'all know what that means. We're gonna have to bring Jerry back because he is giving us. I already know y'all
Yep.
been wanting this male energy on the show, but I'm not mad at it. So we're gonna
Me
talk about
either.
the programming that women have and how it affects us in relationships on our next show.
Yes.
So speaking about
Yes.
collaboration and competition, I'm gonna give you guys just 60 seconds to go ahead and wrap it up. We'll start with Essence first.
I don't have anything to say because you know what? What I have seen is that I'll just say this: collaboration and competition, from what Jerry has said in this conversation, is that they are both necessary, and there can be a balance, a healthy balance. There was competition with himself to be better. And I think that is a primary focus. And then you learn, within bettering yourself, you learn how to successfully collaborate with others. And I think we could take that into the relationship dynamic.
All right. So from the mind wellness coach, thank you, Essence. That was excellent. Jerry, 60 seconds. Your thoughts on competition versus collaboration.
if you can't read personalities, you will fail.
Mm,
Period.
Man, that's
I
what I'm
don't
talking
care if
about.
you fail.
Give me them bullet
I
points.
don't care if
mm,
you fail now or if you fail later. You will fail in
mhm,
your marriage. You will fail in your business. You will fail with your customers. You will fail with your coworkers. You will fail. Or no, I won't say you. I won't say fail. I'll say you will not reach what you could have reached,
mhm.
and you will be that person on your deathbed wondering why didn't I say, etc. In my opinion,
Mm, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right,
Yeah,
you
that's
guys.
good.
So we are at the end of it. We are at the end of today's episode. So I mean, I really hope you guys found today's episode to be enlightening. And if you enjoyed this discussion, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and always leave us a review. And you guys know that you can connect with us on social media. I always put our handles, Instagram handles, in the description down below. And I just want you guys to just know that, man, whether you're competing or collaborating, just keep striving for excellence. And you guys know my quote. Uh-oh, Jill. Wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead and say something. I felt it. Don't say it.
there's a alpha. Alpha is a term. It has characteristics. I don't really consider myself alpha anymore. I used to. I consider myself now. The term is sigma male, and when you, I think, but I have that other side of me, of course, but most of me wants to chill, be away. I got no problem spending 30 days by myself, right? I got,
Mm,
I'm the type of person now that I want to be the face of everything. Alpha would kind of look to and go, hey man, what do you think about this? Okay, bet I trust that, thank you. Because they trust my wisdom. So it's kind of like as wisdom grows, you shift. You can shift.
Mhm,
I ain't gonna
yeah.
never be no beta, but you I feel that as I looked up those characteristics just in preparation for the show, I was like, I'm a, I align myself more with the Sigma male thing.
Mm,
Maybe the Alpha male
mhm,
thing was a wannabe thing because it was,
mhm.
you know, all of that. But I know I do have those characteristics as
all
well.
right.
So I don't
Well,
need
I'm gonna tell you what. We're actually probably we're gonna bring you back for more than one episode because that's a whole nother episode in
Mhm.
itself too. All
I
right.
It
apologize
is.
for
No, you're good.
No.
No,
the
you're good.
Alpha.
Because I mean, look, I'm enjoying the conversation. I love it 100%. Um,
Hmm.
all right. So you guys, I know you guys know we're gonna bring Jerry back because he's got some great insights and
Hmm.
missing some of that on this show. So once again, you guys can always connect with us on social media. And for more updates, you can just, and if you have some more topics, just leave us a comment and let us know what your thoughts are. And if you have any questions on topics that you'd like for us to cover, just feel free to leave them and we'll make sure that we cover them on our future shows. And like I said, remember that whether you're competing or collaborating, just keep striving for excellence. And you guys know my saying, the journey to the top of any mountain begins with one single step. Don't stop, keep climbing. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to Alpha Intuition Podcast. Until next time, guys. Peace.
All right.